Hello everyone, I'm Rohan.
Hi, I'm Pooja.
We hope you're doing good and are safe back home.
We have come up with an interesting series where we'll be sharing few key takeaways from our journey as wedding photographers.
I hope you will find this whole series really useful and it will help you to become a better photographer in some or the other way down the line. So stay tuned, we'll be back with the series very soon. Till then, bye, take care.
See you soon!
Bye. Hello everyone, I'm Rohan and today I'll be talking about the importance of strengthening your presence online. So guys, always remember that your website is the face of your business. Whenever somebody is searching for any photographer or say any business online, they mostly look at your website. It completely depends on the kind of content you have been putting on your website, and it truly reflects who you are as a photographer. So it is very important creating a really good website for your business. Having a website helps you get some really diverse weddings. Now suppose your client is not in Chennai and probably from a different city altogether, and they are planning their wedding in Chennai. Most likely they will be searching for a photographer online, and there are high chances that your website will come up and they will hire you. So always make sure that you have a website which is ranking well on Google to get some diverse weddings. We have to also acknowledge the fact that getting a good rank on Google takes time, probably years. Now, the sooner you will start, the better it will be, and the sooner you will get a good ranking on Google. So do it right away. There is no shortcut in getting a better rank for your website. You'll get to see many people contacting you that we will push your website on the first page of Google. It will work with some fixes provided by them for a short term. It will not be a long-term fix for you. Always remember, it is always good to get your website up there on Google organically and not through any fixes provided by any of these vendors who are contacting you for setting it up. Your website is not dependent on any of the social medias. Now, if you remember a couple of years back, Facebook was really buzzing and everybody was on Facebook setting up their photography page and considering it as portfolio. Now the same is happening with Instagram. This is something which will keep on changing, which we can't predict from our side. But your website is something which will always be yours, and you can continuously invest on your website. Your efforts will be for your website, not for any other social media platform, which might change after a couple of years. The other genuine way of up-ranking your website is identify some blogs or websites which are ranking well on Google, which really have some good content for your consumers. Try to put up some kind of blog for them or a guest writer for that website. This will help to create a backlink for your website, which will in turn help you to have a better ranking on Google. So guys, these were the few tips which I wanted to share to set up your website. I think you can go ahead with any of the vendors out there like GoDaddy or Wix.com. They are pretty cheap nowadays and it's very easy to set it up with them. That's it for now guys. I'll be coming up with another video very soon. See you. Bye.
Hello people, I'm Pooja from Rohan Mishra Photography, and today I'll be talking about one of the most important aspect of photography, which is posing. I have known many fellow photographers that they do struggle with posing. Okay, it is one of the difficult aspects to get expertise on, including us. Even we struggled in our initial days when we started, but we have evolved with time. There was a time when I got pregnant, and I actually got that breather from the shoots where I can concentrate on how to get the couple posed in a manner where actually we can view their chemistry as well. During that pregnancy tenure, I decided, since I had taken a break from the shoots, so I decided to upscale this skill of mine by going through a lot of online sessions for posing, on how to pose a bride, on how to pose a couple, how to pose a family, how to get emotions out of them. So in this entire journey, the best online session which I have got hold of was Eyes Society. It's an online training session held by Jerry Gionis and his team, and it is I think it is very important that if you are actually struggling with posing, you should enroll yourself and go through that. It will help you. The importance of posing is because it can either make or break a picture. You need to have a little bit of upper hand in this. There are couples who are very camera shy, so we have to make them comfortable. We have to give them poses in which they are comfortable. They don't look awkward. For us, the chemistry and the pose are equally important. So if you see all our bridal portraits, all our groom portraits, and all our couple shoots, in that we have made sure that they are correctly posed. If you get that right, then it will just accentuate the entire mood of the picture. The emotions will come really strong. So this is all about posing, and I will be coming up with few more tips which we have learned during our journey as wedding photographers. So stay tuned, and we'll meet soon.
Hello everyone, I'm Rohan, and I'm back with another episode of Shots by RMP. Today I'll be talking about setting the right expectations with your client. Whenever you get an inquiry, ensure that you just don't send the code to the client. You need to share all your deliverables, the details about it, the timelines as to when they'll be getting the deliverables. You need to explicitly mention about the deliverables which are dependent on a third party. Say for example, when we deliver an album to the client, there can be a delay from the printer. Now this is something which is not in your hand. You do have a time range, but you have to clearly mention this thing to the client that yes, there can be a slight delay due to the printing process, and the client should be aware of it. You should always educate your client because you are the master of your art. Now when I'm saying educating your client, it means you need to make them aware that the photos and videos which you deliver, their quality is also dependent on the decor, on the setup, on the venue, on the lighting, and so on. So these things play a major role when it comes to photography and videography, and the client should be aware of it. As soon as you meet the client and get the details about the events, ensure you jot down everything in a form of an email, put down everything in a schedule and send it to them so that you both are on the same page. This will avoid any misunderstanding between you and your client. We'll be back with another episode very soon. Till then, take care. Bye.
Hello guys, we are back with the shots of the day, and today we will be talking about how to break the ice with the couple and the family. We would like to fix up a meeting with the client. That's when the real icebreaker happens, when you are face to face and when you are talking to them. So when we meet, that's the time when we have our set of questions with the client in terms of how they met each other, what their love story is there anything unique about their love story, is there any milestone which they want to showcase, what kind of wedding they are looking at, what is their vision, how grand it is there any special plan with their friends which they are going to execute. Those intricate details of the wedding which will instantly strike a spark between you as a photographer and the couple. So we even suggest from our end to have a small pre-wedding shoot. That shoot will actually make them comfortable in front of the camera. And it's not only important to know the couple, it is equally important to know the family as well. You should try to ask more questions about their family and how involved they are in the entire wedding preparation. That will show, as photographers, we are not just doing the job of the photographer, but we are actually acting as an advisor or a good friend to them. That they should feel that it's a wedding which is happening at RMP family. So we will do everything to make that wedding shine with all its glory. At RMP, what we do as a brand, we will ask in case they need anything more than photography services from us. In terms of, we can refer people for the decor, for the DJing, the makeup artist. We will make sure that they are not stuck with the wrong people. So yeah, so that's all for today. So see you tomorrow.
Hello everyone, I'm Rohan, and today I'll be talking about the importance of data backup. I don't have to tell you how important it is to have a robust data backup plan for your business. Okay, so there are different ways of doing a data backup. If you are working with limited projects every year, it is advisable to have a data backup plan done manually through physical hard drives. On the other hand, if you are dealing with large number of projects which require huge amount of data to be backed up probably every year, then you might have to look for a better solution. There are different storage solutions available in the market. The famous ones which I can recall are Drobo and Synology. These are some robust solutions for managing the data. The advantage of having such storage solution in place is that your team members can actually access this data from anywhere. If you set it up in a form of a server, it is very easy to share data when there are multiple team members working on a single project. Now this actually makes the whole process of editing and delivering the project to the client a lot easier and efficient. Now if you are managing the data manually, make sure that you have at least 3 copies of your data. When I'm saying 3 copies, make sure that there are 3 different hard drives where you are storing the data, and probably the locations of these hard drives also should be different. Say suppose one of the hard drives is sitting at your home, the other hard drive should be there at your office. Now you have to identify and make sure that the data is kept at different places. God forbid if something happens to one location, there is always a chance that you have a data saved at another place altogether. Avoid on-location data backup if you have less time. Now this is something which we are very sure of. If we have a multiple day wedding, and if say suppose we have sufficient time to take the data backup on the venue itself, yes, we would love to do that. But in case you don't have time and you have back-to-back shoots, don't fiddle with the memory cards. Always have extra memory cards so that you don't have to format the existing ones and you have to shoot on them itself. You should shoot on new memory cards, and when you are back to your location, you can have a data backup done properly. Now cloud storage is cheap nowadays. make sure as soon as you reach your location, once your data backup is done, take at least the JPEG versions of these images, put it up on the cloud just like that till the time you're working on that project. You can probably clear off these files after a certain period once the project is over. The other thing which we always do is after completing the project, when we have exported the complete set of JPEGs for the client, we put it in a gallery, full resolution, and deliver it to the client. Now this works as an additional backup for us, and the client can also access this gallery anytime from their place. So yeah, these were the few pointers which we usually follow during our data backup process. It's always good to have multiple backup, guys. It is one of the backbone for a successful business. Make sure that you back up your data properly. That's all for now. We'll be coming back with another video very soon. See you guys. Bye.
Hi guys, I'm Pooja and I'm back with the shots of the day, and today I'll be talking about punctuality. Try being at the venue at least 1 hour before the call time. This will give you time to unwind and open up creatively for the shoot. It will also help you make up for the time in case there are any delays during the travel. It will also give you time to figure out the frames for the couple shoot and the detail shot. It is not only important to be punctual before or during the event, but it is equally important to adhere to the timelines during the delivery also. So these were the tips for the timelines, why it is important. I'll be back soon with a brand new episode of Shots of the Day, and we will talk more. Till then, bye.
Hello everyone, I'm Rohan and I'm back with another episode of Shots by RMP. Today I'll be talking about the importance of having a backup of your cameras and lenses. If you're a wedding photographer, it's absolutely compulsory to have a backup camera and a lens. The reason for that is you're shooting one of the most important day of somebody's life and you cannot screw it. If you're just starting out and you can't afford a new camera body, rent it, but have a backup camera when you are shooting somebody's wedding. Whenever you are upgrading your camera, make sure that you keep your existing camera as your backup camera. Always keep a backup lens with you. It can be a basic kit lens, but having something is always better than having nothing at all. Thanks for watching our video. We'll be connecting soon on our next episode. Thanks, bye.
Hello people, we are back with a brand new episode of Shots of the Day, and today I will be talking about treating your team as an extended family. But before that, we need to realize why we need a team at the first place. What is their role in the entire process? If you need to have a good coverage, you need to have at least 2 angles for every event. For example, if the bride is getting ready and if the Bharat ceremony, the Sehra Bandi is happening parallelly, so at that point of time, for both the sequences, you need at least 2 photographers to be there. So 2 each, so total 4 photographers. So you need a team for that. You never know which angle will give the best result, okay? Taking safe shots should not be our only criteria. For example, how Rohan and I work, we split during the ceremonies when things are happening parallelly. For example, there is a haldi ceremony happening for the bride and the haldi ceremony happening for the groom. If that is the case and it's happening at the same duration, then we go with our second shooters Like he will be having another second shooter and I will be having another second shooter with me, and we will be covering those events like that. You should dedicate one person just to shoot the safe shots for the clients and the other person to try something creative. Okay, a great team coordination will work wonders in a wedding. The more the angles you get, the better it is, but you should be very careful that none of the team members should come in the frame of the other person. At the end of the day, you are spending most of your time with your team, so you have to create an environment where you have enough synergy amongst yourselves. You need to make them enjoy photography. You need to push them to take themselves to push their creative walls. For example, this shot which I'm talking about is from Azman and Nevin's wedding reception, and there was no rainfall or anything. We created these droplets, and this was done by two people standing on the right hand side, two people standing on the left hand side, and we were spraying water from the water bottles. We had made a hole on the cap and we were spraying water droplets. So to execute such a shot, you need a team for that. You can't do it alone. Trust me, after taking this shot, we all felt so good. We were like, we created something new which we have never done in our entire career. So this is just an example for you guys to understand why you need a team and why it is so important. So guys, that's all for today, and I'll be back soon with another interesting topic. Till then, stay home, stay safe.
Hello everyone, I'm Rohan, and today I'll be talking about how to build a portfolio for your business. Now there are multiple ways to build a portfolio, but I'll be telling you how I have done it. Now when I started out, I used to make sure that I need to bring at least 2 wow shots from a wedding which I'm shooting. That was completely and solely only for myself. So when you do it continuously for a couple of years, you can actually see that your complete portfolio will be changed. We keep following the same process till now to evolve ourselves and to move to the next level. Now there are chances that when you are starting out, you might not be having any project in hand. It is always good that you work as a second shooter for a photographer. It helps you learn a lot of hands-on experience when you work with an experienced photographer, and at the same time, if you have a good understanding with the photographer you are working for, you can actually pull out some shots from the weddings which you have been shooting for him and use them as your portfolio images. Now this will be a win-win situation for you and the photographer for whom you are working with. These were the quick tips which I wanted to share, and if you follow these tips regularly for all your weddings, you can actually see your progression. So thanks for watching the video guys. We'll be back with another video very soon. See you guys. Bye.